Okay.
Hello, everyone. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else is going to be joining, and then we'll get started. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to this webinar presented by SBA, Small Business Administration and SCORE. My name is Gail Greenspan. I apologize, my voice is a little gravelly. I'm just getting over a cold. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll keep our eyes on that. SCORE is a national network of volunteer expert business mentors, providing low or no-cost education, counseling, and tools to help small businesses get off the ground, grow, and achieve their goals. There's confidential one-on-one counseling, live and recorded trainings and workshops, local events throughout the country, business planning tools and templates, connection to people and other resources. The Capital Corridor chapter serves 21 counties in Northern California with offices in Sacramento, Chico, and Stockton. Please visit score.org and score.org/Capital Corridor to learn more. The Small Business Administration helps Americans start, build, and grow businesses. SBA is SCORE's primary sponsor. They work cooperatively to support small businesses. Carrie Ellenwood is the SBA Deputy District Director out of Sacramento and is here today to help you understand more about SBA.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy you're joining us today for this webinar. I am the Deputy District Director, and our Sacramento district also serves 21 counties of the northeastern part of California. And what we provide is support for our resource partners like SCORE. We have access to capital programs, contracting assistance for the federal government contracting programs. And then we also have the disaster loan programs that are offered through SBA directly. So what I'd like to do today is share with you an overview of all the different resources that are available to you as a small business person. And what that means is that our resources are going to provide you with the opportunity to grow and expand your business. Is my screen sharing?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So as I mentioned, SBA has district offices, or didn't, but will, across the country. And we have 68 different offices. So wherever you are across the country, you will be able to find SBA resources for you. Here in California, because the size of our economy, we actually have 6 district offices. Most states only have 1, maybe a couple of satellite locations. So we're in Sacramento, San Francisco, Fresno, Los Angeles, San Diego, and the Orange County Inland Empire. One of the things that our district does is offers opportunities for you as a small business to get support from us in terms of access to capital. That's our primary area that we're known for, although in the business arena, we do not lend directly. So our loan programs are varied. We have our microloan program offered through the Small Business Administration intermediaries. These are not-for-profit organizations that aren't banking institutions. They're mission-based, and their primary goal is to assist the micro-sized businesses accessing capital so they can grow. Our next program, which we refer to as our flagship program, is our 7A Loan Guarantee Program. This is offered to small businesses anywhere from $5,000 to $5 million for commercial business purposes, and it also can be used for real estate construction or purchasing. This program is a guarantee for the lender. So what that means to you as the small business is the commercial lenders will open up their credit box a little wider for the newer startup businesses because they have that SBA guarantee. The way I like to describe it, it's like insurance for the bank. So when you want to obtain one of the 7A guaranteed loans, you'll go directly to your business bank or your personal bank or credit union. Most every bank and credit union in the Sacramento district footprint is part of our 7A guarantee program. So you'll work directly with that lender. You'll put your business plan together, and that's where SCORE can help you. And you put some cash flow projections together, and you're going to take that into your lender, and they're going to evaluate your business idea, your cash flow projections, and your ability to succeed. These loans are not based on what you have in assets. They're actually based on your cash flow. So if you have a good business plan, a good idea, been in business a couple of years, a startup, or you've been in business a long time, it's a good way for you to have better terms on your loans. And I'll explain that a little more in detail. The other program we have is our 504 loan, and this is for acquisition and construction of commercial real estate. And it also is considered a job creation opportunity for a small business that has been in business for a couple years, that is ready to expand and own their own building. So some of the benefits to you as a small business borrower with the SBA programs is you can access capital from the commercial banks and lenders when you may not be able to get a direct loan with them, because the SBA loan programs have better interest rates, and they also have longer repayment terms, so that it right away improves your cash flow. Our interest rate and maturity terms I just talked about. You can refinance debt that you might have right now that is burdensome to your small business. You can't refinance another SBA loan if it was made recently. So that probably would not work for you. Now, if you have the 7A loan opportunity, that guaranteed loan, those fees can be rolled right into that loan balance. And we'll go through that when I show the chart to you. But this helps you, again, improve your cash flow. So what kind of business is eligible? It's a pretty simple list. You need to be operated for profit. For the business loans, we don't make those or guarantee those for not-for-profit organizations. You need to be a U.S. citizen or have a verified green card status. You need to not exceed the SBA size standards, which are very generous. The statistics for California show that over 98% of our businesses are small businesses, and 40+% have less than 10 employees. So as you can see, there are a lot of small businesses that are going to fit into these requirements. You need to be of good character. And what that means is if you have had interactions with the law, you need to disclose those to your lender. They don't necessarily preclude you from having an SBA guaranteed loan, but they do need to be reviewed. And the reason for that is these loan guarantees are partially funded by taxpayer dollars, and that needs to be spent with good things in mind. You need to have on those cash flow projections I mentioned the demonstrated ability to repay that loan through your small business. And you cannot use this for a business that's engaged in lending, real estate development, investments, or any other speculative kind of activity. The other thing here particular to California is if your industry is in the cannabis area, those are not eligible. Although it is legal in California, it's not legal federally. So these guaranteed loans cannot be used for those business purposes. If you do have a business that is related to the hemp industry, some of those are eligible, and you could discuss that with your lender. So the 7A loan guarantee program, basically it's our primary program we use. It has a wide range of options for small businesses. And the guarantee that I mentioned earlier can be up to 90% on export loans, 85% on loans under 150,000, and 75% on loans over 150,000. And as I mentioned, the terms are anywhere from 5 to 7 years for working capital, 10 years for equipment, up to 25 for real estate. And you have a prime rate right now that is at 8%. So it is high compared to what we had a few years ago. So your loan cost is going to be prime rate plus 2.25 for the 7 years or loan 7 years or less, prime rate and 2.75 for over 7 years. And they can be even higher if you have a smaller loan in the $50,000 range, which is why we have the microloan program that is available to small businesses as well. That guarantee that I mentioned that's like insurance for the lender is actually a fee that the borrower pays. Our loans under $500,000 right now have that fee waived. And that is because Congress and our administrator is really working hard to make sure that all small businesses have access to the capital that they need. And you can see here there are different fees based on that percentage, 0.55 for 500,000 to 700,000, 1.05 for loans of 700,000 to $1 million, and then over $1 million loan, those fees go up to 3.5%. And again, remember, this is only on the guaranteed portion of the loan. And these fees can be rolled into your loan. There are some fees that a lender will charge you for preparing the loan package and putting all that paperwork together and running your credit and those types of things. Those fees you will have to pay upfront with that lender for the loan. We have on our website at sba.gov lots of detailed information on these loan programs that you can look up yourself. And we will be providing you all of these slides at the end of the presentations today. Our 504 loan program that I mentioned is for a small business who's been in business a couple of years. They're ready to have their own real estate, and they want to also add jobs. The way this works is it's a 3 portions, and there's a benefit to the borrower, the small business. You only have to come up with 10% to start with this real estate project, whether it's a building project or it's an existing building. Typically for real estate, you're going to need to put in 20-25% on commercial real estate, sometimes more depending on the lender you're working with. So you right away can see the advantage to your cash flow. What you will do as the small business owner is you'll work directly with your bank to negotiate a rate on a first note. The banks like this because they have a lot of equity in the project. They have 50% equity from their position, and it is something that is attractive to them. The next piece of it is the certified development company covers the additional 40% of your loan in a second loan, which is called a SBA guaranteed debenture. This rate for the debenture is not determined until your project closes, which is unusual for a lot of people. They're not used to that. They want to know the loan rate up front. But on this one, your certified development company that you work with will be able to explain that to you and show you the trending rates for those loans, which right now are in the 4% high, mid to 4s range. You have to apply for that with our certified development company that the SBA monitors. And you also will need to be prepared to do a workbook with them on how many employees you have, how many employees are you going to add or retain. So I will give you an example of what I mean by that. So for $1 million project, you're going to come up with $100,000 as your deposit. You're going to negotiate a loan rate with a lender for $500,000. And then the 40% debenture will be determined at the time of your close of your loan. And that is what your employment requirement is based on. So for the $400,000 of the debenture, for every $75,000, your small business will either need to create or retain one full-time equivalent employee. So that's a little over 5 employees. And you can include yourself if you pay yourself as an employee. So you can see the benefit to you. You need to occupy 51% of any SBA real estate loans that you obtain. And you could sublease a portion. Let's say you started with 75% of the building that you needed the minute you closed your transaction, and you had 25% available to sublease to another small business. You can do that. You would still meet that 51% occupancy requirement, and you would also be building your own equity in that real estate. So this is a great program for you if you're a small business that's been in business for a few years and you're ready to grow and purchase your own commercial real estate. So that is kind of our high-level overview of all of our loan programs. And again, you will have these slides at the end of the webinar. And the next area I want to talk about is federal contracting. Let's say you've been in business a few years and you want to grow your business and you've decided you want to look at federal contracting because it is a good way to grow your business. We purchased $500 billion of goods and services, one of the largest purchasers in the world. And we purchase everything from pens and pencils, computer equipment, landscape for the buildings, maintenance for the buildings, furniture for buildings, all kinds of things that the SBA and other federal agencies purchase are available to you as a small business owner to participate. We are required by law to offer these contracting opportunities to small businesses. And what that means is 23% of all the government spend must be done with small businesses. Within that 23%, we also have 4 set-aside programs for specific groups. For minority-owned and socioeconomically disadvantaged small businesses, we have a 5% set aside. And what that means is you as a small business that fits that category and applies for that certification will only compete against other small businesses that are like you in that same certification subset. That we call 8A. And you can learn more about that at sba.gov/contracting. Another set-aside area we have for 5% is women-owned small businesses. This program has set-aside program available for women-owned businesses owned 51% or more by a female. These businesses have similar certification requirements. You can learn about all of those at certified.sba.gov. And it'll explain to you the different criteria. You can also learn sba.gov/contracting. The other 2 set-asides we have are the Hub Zone set-aside. This set-aside is 3% for any small businesses that operates their primary location out of a historically underutilized business area. These Hub Zones are determined by census tract data. And so that's where you would go to find out if you actually are in a hub zone. Not all of them are in rural areas. Some are in areas of cities that are disadvantaged areas in a city in a particular census tract. And the last category that we have a set aside for is our veteran-owned small businesses. Veterans have a similar set aside for 3%, and they, like the hub zone, you need to qualify for. All of these certifications you can qualify for by providing the information to SBA through our portal that's called certify.gov, CERTIFY.gov. You can learn about that. It will walk you through what documents you need to upload, what licenses and things like that you might need to have. It's not an easy, nor is it a quick process. But generally speaking, within a month to 6 months, depending on which certification you're looking at, you can obtain that certification. We do have local resources in all the district offices that can assist you with learning about those programs and the opportunities for your small business. The other thing that has recently happened in January is SBA now takes care of the veteran disabled certification that used to be managed through the Veterans Administration. So the VA and SBA are now transitioning that to our plan so that it'll be more convenient for you as a small business who may be woman-owned, a veteran, and resides their business in a hub zone. You can have all three of those certifications, and that allows you the ability to compete in all of those set-asides. So please, if you're ready to grow your business and you have some thoughts and things you might want to offer to the federal government, make sure you take a look at that information on our website. Okay, so our resource partner network, you've already found one of them, SCORE. SCORE is a wonderful organization. Our Sacramento chapter is very strong and vibrant and has advisors that can answer pretty much any kind of question that you might come up with. Very talented group. We also have small business development centers across the country like SCORE in every state. They have similar programs of webinars and one-on-one advising at no cost to your small business. We have women's business centers that are also located across the country, and they too offer one-on-one business advising and webinars. And they also have some specific tools for women-owned small businesses that they will offer to you. Of course, everyone is eligible to go to any of these three of our network support team, but they do have special focus at the Women's Business Center. We have a program called Ascent, A-S-C-E-N-T, that SBA offers, and it's a self-led journey through different phases of your business. And it's very, very well put together for you. And you can walk yourself through each phase of your business and enjoy that journey as you go through. Another organization that provides support is our Veterans Business Outreach Centers. We have two of those in California. They serve the entire state and offer a lot of courses and one-on-one business advising for veterans and their family members that are involved in the business. This is the only one of our groups that is restricted to who can access their services. Okay, so for the Sacramento area, we have our disaster information contact, and I put this at the top because many of you that were in business the past few years through the COVID-19 economic disaster that the country experienced, you may have received one of the economic injury loans for your small business. Those loans had a 30-month deferral period. They are not forgivable, so you will need to repay that loan. And that's why I've put this information up at the top. We also have had an experience with some individuals now finding out that someone took out one of these loans in their name using their identity. The information here on this slide will help you report that to us, and we will do what we can to facilitate correcting that loan problem for you. There were millions of these loans made, so it is a lot of work to go through for the agency. So please do be patient with us if you are filing that identity theft report. We will work through that with you as quickly as we can. The other thing I would like to suggest, if you do find someone has taken your identity and obtained credit, you can freeze your credit report. What that means is nobody can use your identity to receive credit, not even yourself. But you as the individual would have the opportunity to turn your credit bureau information back on if you wanted to use it. So you can reach out to TransUnion, Experian, can't remember the name of the other one off the top of my head, but any one of those will provide you a free credit report. And they don't give you the credit score, but they will let you see what is on a detailed credit report so you can understand what has been done with your credit. So if you see things that are not accurate on there, you can reach out to them and have that cleared up. If you need help with that, we have our resource partners that are also available to assist you with that. At the bottom of the slide here, I have our Sacramento District Office contact information. We are open to the public, but we request that you call us and make an appointment so we can have someone available to meet with you. Our hours are from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, the office is open. We are not open, Monday through Thursday, we're open. We're not open to the public on Fridays. We do respond via email and phone calls within 2 or 3 business days. And if it's the weekend or a federal holiday, then it'll take a few more days for us to get back to you. In addition, what's going on in Sacramento that I wanted to share with you is the first week of May, we are having our Capital Region Small Business Week celebrations for National Small Business Week. We have lots of different events going on that you can join in. We have our wonderful awards program that'll be on Thursday. The luncheon starts at 11:30 and we'll recognize our 8 small business Sacramento district winners for this year. We have a contractor of the year, family-owned business, woman-owned business, entrepreneur of the year, small business of the year, and veteran-owned business of the year, nonprofit of the year, and I'm leaving one out, I think, but it's a great opportunity for you to see small businesses that get recognized for all their hard work, just as you have put in hard work over the past few years. So please take a look at that. And I will put in the chat the website that you can go to find more out about all the events that are going on the entire first week of May here in the Sacramento region. Last but not least, if you do have your phone with you and you could give us feedback on if this information was helpful for you and you want to learn more, it's about 5 questions. Just scan this QR code either today or when you receive this slide deck and let us know how we're doing for you. With that, I want to thank you and I'd like to turn it back over to our SCORE partner. I don't know if there's any questions. Let's see. No, looks like we're no questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you very much, Carrie.
You're welcome.
We're going to do a quick poll to see what you all thought of this. Can you all see the polling questions on your screen? Yes, no? Carrie, can you see the polling questions?
Yes, I can see. It's Oksana.
Oh, okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. What stage is your business in? And I see some of you have already responded to that one. Planning, startup, or established. Do you have a business plan ready to assist you with obtaining funding? Yes, no, or in progress? How useful did you find the SBA presentation? Very useful, useful, not useful at all? Which topics did you find most useful? And all the topics that Carrie covered are listed there. Would you like more SBA presentations like this one? I'll give you another minute to take a look at that, and then we'll end the poll. Okay, anyone else? Put in your last answers now. And I'm going to end the poll. And we can see the results. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, we're getting ready to go on to the rest of the presentation. I see there's one question and answer. Yes, okay, great, thank you. My name again is Gail Greenspan, and again, excuse my voice, I just ending with a cold. I am new to SCORE Capital Corridor and excited about all the ways I can support our chapter and our clients. I currently live in Elk Grove, California, a suburb of Sacramento, moving from the Bay Area after I retired. My career was in information technology, providing course development, business process improvement, and technical sales support. I was also vice president of business operations for 7 years for a small business delivering consulting and education services some years ago. I've been volunteering for 5+ years, supporting my church and helping a number of nonprofits with procedures development, curriculum development, and application support. Today, we're going to be talking about how you choose applications for your small business. This is really a follow-on presentation to a presentation I gave back in January called Controlling Your Business with Business Processes. If anyone is interested in that recording from that presentation, please enter your name and email in the chat, and I can make sure you get a copy of that as well. Choosing applications for your small business is an expansion of one of the steps in that process. Choosing the right applications is key to a successful business. This presentation will discuss 6 steps, including how to approach determining which ones are right for your business. Applications are everywhere. How can you determine which ones are right for your business, where to start, what to watch out for, and how to get help? The first step in figuring out what applications are right for your business is to ask some questions about the tasks that needed to be completed. This slide shows the questions that need to be asked. What tasks are needed to be accomplished, daily, monthly, etc. What triggers each task? What is the input data for the task? What action needs to be taken by whom and by when? Who needs to know about this, and what information is needed now and might be needed in the future? As in the earlier presentation in January, we will use an example of a tutoring organization when how they manage volunteer submittals. So those people interested in doing tutoring for them, that's one of the processes that they have to work with on a fairly regular, almost daily basis. So we'll use that as an example of how to determine what applications would work best in order to complete that process. So the process is this: the applicant submits a volunteer form on the website. The tutor coordinator adds the applicant to a database, matches applicant availability and preferences to current opportunities, emails the applicant to see if they're interested. When the applicant responds, the tutor coordinator then updates applicant record with response, notifies the program director if the applicant is interested in that particular program, and the programmer director then sets up an interview and notifies the tutor coordinator of the results of the interview. If the program director wants to move forward with that applicant, the tutor coordinator emails the requirements to the applicant, things such as taking online training or doing a background check. The applicant sends in a confirmation when each of those items have been completed. The tutor coordinator then notifies the program director that the applicant is ready to tutor. If the program director chooses to not move forward with the applicant, then the tutor coordinator will update the applicant's record and send the applicant an email to say, we don't have any use for you at this time, but we'll keep you informed of opportunities in the future. Now, what we're looking at here on this slide is how it would all work if there's no application automation. If you don't have an application that's going to be helping you to move through this process. This is how it would work if you find an application that can help you automate the process and gather information and streamline it. So step one is the same. The applicant submits the volunteer form on the website. In this case, the application, not the tutor coordinator, will automatically add the application to the applicant to the database, look to see if there's a match with availability and preferences, and then generate an email to the applicant. The generated email may be immediate, or it could be with a delayed send, so that the tutor coordinator can customize the text if needed. And the application will then log the email to the applicant's record so that they have historical information about what has been done with that particular applicant. When the applicant responds, the application, not the tutor coordinator, will update applicant record with response and notify both the tutor coordinator and the program director of the applicant's interest. After the interview is completed, the program director will go into the application and update the status. The status that the program director specifies for this applicant will determine what the next steps are. So if the status is bring this person on board, we want to get ready and use this person as a tutor, application emails the requirements to the applicant sends in confirmation of this completion of those steps, and the application notifies the tutor coordinator and the program director that the applicant is ready to tutor. Now, if the program director decides that we can't use this person right now as a tutor, the program director sets that status to no use now, contact in future, and the application will automatically send an email to the applicant. So let's take a look at the difference between these two steps. So solution one was without automation, solution two was with automation. The automated solution requires that there must be an application interface with the website software to publish the form. So the form will appear on the website. The application will automatically get the information when there is a submittal. And then the application can have the ability to send out predefined emails, either automatic ones or those that are delayed, allowing manual input. The application must have a workflow defined to make decisions about the applicant, say, for example, based on the status field. Application must allow for possible field values to be customized. So to make sure that the status field covers all the possibilities for this particular organization. The program director must also have a login and be trained on the application to make sure that he or she knows how to update the database and look at the information that's in there about the applicant. And if things go well, the tutor coordinator will have a lot of time for other things to do. So that's step one, is trying to map out your processes and determine what would you actually need in an application. Step two is looking at application considerations. These are things like, what types of things do you need the application to fulfill? For example, you obviously need data storage and retrieval. Every organization will need that, a place to store the information they need and a way to get the information out of that database when they need it and in a form that they want it. Internal communication. How is internal communication amongst your organization going to be handled? Will it be through email, chat, meeting scheduling, collaborative files? What about external communication? Email may be the most common way of doing it, but then there's also reporting. If you have to report out to several external organizations, how does that need to be done? And then workflow automation. Again, we mentioned canned emails resulting from a specific trigger, like based on what the status of the applicant is, and also emails that might need to be customized before they're sent out, but providing a template. So if we use the process volunteer submittals as the example again, for data storage and retrieval, this particular organization decided that they needed applicant contact information, their skills, their preferences, their availability for tutoring. They also put in if they were needed for interviews, requirement completion, new opportunities, and reporting. The internal communication, they decided between the tutor coordinator and the program directors would be using emails and collaborative files or direct access to the database, depending on what the communication was. The external communication would be emails to and from applicants and other organizations interested in their particular organization, and then reporting performance to program clients and potential grantors. The workflow automation also needed to provide both emails with static or dynamic content. Other things to consider under application considerations. How many people are involved in your processes? Do you want them all to have direct access to the applications? If so, would this have an impact on what the cost of the application would be based on the number of users? How much application training would be required for each person who needs to use the application? Do all the potential users have time to learn and use the applications? Would it be better for them to feed information to an application administrator? Security and data integrity exposures. Will the application provide security for multiple users with varying levels of authority? Will the, excuse me. Will the data be compromised if multiple users have access? Does the application provide a way to identify who last updated specific data? And can the application revert to a previous version of the data if needed? So applying the considerations to the process volunteer submittals, this organization decided that the application they were interested in would not increase cost if they had people accessing the application directly. Time, how much application training would be required? The application was quite customizable. Sorry. Increasing the subtleties during use. So the training time would be considerable. Sorry, one moment, please. Okay, I think I'm back. Do all the potential users have time to learn and use the application? Since most of staff are part-time, time for training and use was limited. Would it be better for them to feed information to an application administrator? Incorporating a collaborative spreadsheet and emails to share information with an administrator fully trained on the application was the best decision. Security and data integrity exposures. They decided the application did provide varying levels of access by role, but there was no facility for tracking who performed the updates and when. or the ability to revert to an earlier version if the data integrity was exposed. Allowing novice users without full insight into the application could easily lead to data integrity issues. Step 3 in the process of determining what applications you need is to translate the tasks that you have into features of various software applications. So one way of doing this is using software websites like Capterra. And the steps I'll be going through here, I'm also going to be showing screenshots of how it would work. So basically, we would go to that particular website, we would select software categories. Software categories will be broken down into features, and then we can see what mostly fits to your organization, to what you do and how you run your organization. There are many websites out there. There's another one called G2. Gartner is also a good source for information like this. They may have different naming conventions and possibly different applications, but usually there are tools to help you determine what are the features that you're looking for. If you find that this is too overwhelming trying to do it on your own, there are consultants that can help you determine what the applications are. And usually these websites, Capterra, G2, and Gartner, offer you assistance while you're going through this process. It is a very intense process and can be confusing at times. So don't be afraid to seek help if you need it. So this is a screenshot of Capterra with the software categories identified. In this case, you would click on Browse All Categories. From there, you can start entering the particular software type that you're looking for. Let's say we were looking for customer reference management software. So once we start entering customer reference in here, we'll pull up CRM software. You can then click on that category and then select one of the options, one of the products that it's showing you. And there on the left-hand navigation, you'll see what the features are. The other thing that's good about this is that you see the question mark on each of these. You can actually click on those question marks to find out more about what that particular feature does. So going back to our example, process volunteer submittals, they looked at what did they need. Well, what was one of the most important things was their ability to document all exchanges with particular clients that they were dealing with, as well as the applicants that they were working with. So how can you make sure that an application you are exploring will provide that capability? So if we select CRM and go to under features, let's take a look at interaction tracking to see if that's what we're looking for. And there's the description. When we hover over the question mark, add notes and track history to document conversations with specific contacts. You also at some point want to make sure that when they talk about documenting conversations, that would include not only emails and chats, but maybe other kinds of correspondence. And then step 4 is focusing the list of applications so that you can try to determine which ones are close to what you're looking for. There are a lot of filters that you can choose from. Sometimes applications are more generic and can be used for multiple types of businesses. Applications built to handle your specific type of business processes might be easier for you to implement and might provide more functionality out of the box rather than you having to customize that application for your processes. You might want to look at products that are specifically designed for your business size. small, medium, and large. And you can also compare applications and read reviews using the websites that I've mentioned. You can also watch any videos that are available to show how the application works. Will you be able to do the tasks that your business process requires? And if so, how easy is it to perform those tasks? You should create a spreadsheet so that you can analyze your results. These are just some suggested columns that you might want to put in this spreadsheet to be able to compare all the different things that you're concerned about. For example, you may want to make sure that there is good availability for support. And is there support available only through chat? Is it available only through you submit a request and they get back to you? Or is there a phone call available? Being able to have good support could make or break the success in using the application. If you think that you might need offline capabilities, that's another thing that you would want to check into. Are there any feature restrictions on mobile devices, that kind of thing. And then a lot of these applications will offer free trials. Make sure you try them out, because sometimes they say in the documentation they can do something, but the way they actually execute that might not work for your particular situation. So setting up trials and going through all of your business processes is very important to make sure that you don't find out too late that the application can't do what you expected it would do. If they don't offer a free trial, you can always contact sales or support and ask some very specific questions. Like, for example, is there a field in the contact database record that identifies what type of contact this is? Is there a mobile app version? And if so, what does it work on? Are there parts of the application that work differently or don't work at all on mobile devices? So that's the webinar for today. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat now. We have a couple of more minutes. Upcoming webinars can be accessed through score.org Capital Corridor and clicking on Take a Workshop. You can also find a mentor on score.org Capital Corridor, clicking on Find a Mentor. Going to stop sharing now and let's take a look at the poll for this presentation. How useful did you find the SCORE presentation? Very useful, useful, not useful. Which topics did you find most useful? Defining business processes, process automation, application considerations, software categories, features, how to use software evaluation websites, how to analyze results. Would you like more SCORE presentations like this one? Now I'll give you a minute to fill that out. Okay, about 30 more seconds. Okay, thank you very much for filling out this information. Great. Okay, if there aren't any last minute questions, we thank you very much for your attendance today, and we hope to see you in another webinar soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.